Hello my beautiful Hammerhead and welcome back to another video. Today is hopefully the first of many Star Wars Shatterpoint videos. So Shatterpoint-Sunday, it's in the name. And yeah, well, let's just say these are going to be not only a road to Star Wars Shatterpoint and not only a road to battle reports and other in-depth videos, but also my journey into the game, as I am a bloody beginner. And yeah, well, let's just say this is also going to be a little bit of criticism for the core box and what could have been done better, because the box is out for a while now. But still, I really do love what's inside. So let's just dive straight into the topic. Well, first of all, yes, of course, the core box. It is big, it is heavy, it is enormously well made. The box itself is not only, as you can see, humongous, it is also everything that is inside is really made with love and care, and you can tell it by every tiny little detail on it. Be it just the pictures of the models, the artwork and everything else. We have inside, I know you probably already have seen other unboxings, you can see here backgrounds for photography, so you can take beautiful pictures of your miniatures, also upload them under the hashtag Shatterpainting, which now gives me the permission to call this my Shatterboxing. Sorry, I had to. So yeah, well, there is a lot here. There is not only one bag of sprues, there is a second bag of sprues, a third bag of sprues, another hidden floor, and of course other stuff that we will need to play, like, well, the character cards and so on. Then let me show you all the sprues. There are a lot of sprues in here. You have range tools here, movement tools, you have the dice, you have the struggle tracker, and so on and so on. There is a lot of things in here. And yeah, of course, I'm so into Star Wars right now. Star Wars Clone Wars is in the background and I get distracted a lot. But let me show you the sprues. We have 13, yes, 13 sprues just for terrain. And they are beautiful. They are not only very, of course, thematic, and this is obviously not an impulsor, but yeah, there is just a lot. So my first criticism here is you need the core box if you want some of those terrain features, because they are not available anywhere else. There are two other terrain boxes which share some of the sprues that are in here, but you basically need every box in itself to have all of the terrain. Which is not that bad, to be fair here, but it kind of feels weird that some of the terrain features, as I've said, are not available outside of the core box. Also, of course, bases and everything else you need here. Then we have, of course, the struggle token, the momentum token, the movement tools, the range tools, and just look how beautiful these are. They just ooze love and care for the universe. And of course dice, because we love dice. There are 6 defense dice for your defense rolls and 8 attack dice for attack rolls. And look at these sprues for the models. They are really beautiful and they are really, really well made. The lightsabers are finicky, but yeah, there are lightsabers. What did we expect, to be fair here? Then comes my favorite part, sleeving the cards. What do we need? Sleeves. Oh yeah, I love sleeving cards. It feels so good. So if you want to know what size these cards are, those are size orange apparently, tarot size, and I used mine from Game Genic. The sad part is for the character cards, there are no sleeves in that size. So if you know any other company that has those 6x4 inches sleeves, please let me know, because I really want some. So my next step for all of this was, because the rules are very tight, the rules are well made, it's just the design of it was a little bit wonky. So I armed myself with scissors, paper clips, a pen, 2 sets of the core rules printed out, the appendices thrice, so I have multiple of them, and of course the icon references 4 times. Also coffee and something for my neck, because I'm getting old. So yeah, let's begin here. Hydrating, getting distracted by Clone Wars again, a lot again. And then it's just a lot of cutting and, well, building decks of stacks of the rules so that I understand it a little bit better. Of course, getting distracted again by Clone Wars because the episodes were great, and getting really confused on how I should order all those rules. So there is an argument to be made that the rules are kinda bad because there is a lot of wording here to describe simple things. I think this is just future-proofing. I do get the intent behind it, so I'm not criticizing that. It is just, again, a lot of words, and the things are just a little bit all over the rulebook. And that is kind of a shame, because, as I've said, the rules are very simple, they are easy to learn, hard to master, and they are tight. They are really, really good, in my opinion. They're excellently made, but it takes a lot of time to order them in a specific way for myself so I can wrap my head around. So again, it took a while. It took me a long while. But yeah, after I finished that, I hope you like my table, because not only will you see more of it, but also I like my table, so I had to do something. My table is not big enough to, well, accommodate a battlefield for Star Wars Shatterpoint. So I bought a 5mm thick MDF wood plate and some things I can just stick under it so it doesn't scratch my table and doesn't move around all over the place when you bump it. So I just marked several spots, 5 of them to be exact, with a pen and just stuck those thingies on it, so that, as you can see, the plate will not move and will just stay on the spot. After that, I bought myself a playing mat from Playmat EU, which are pretty nice. I'm gonna talk about that one a little bit later, and that's basically it for that. So for the rules and how to do everything, I will again separate this into multiple videos because it is by far easier. And there I have to be a little bit brazen here with you. Could you please help me out a little bit with timestamps, because it makes it easier for other people to watch it as well. And these to make these videos, it takes just a lot of time. And of course there is an argument to be made that I can do this myself, but after editing and everything, I just need time out. So thank you so much in advance if you could help me for that. So yeah, how to set up a battlefield and the mission. Well, first we have, of course, the objective tokens, we have the control tokens and the priority tokens, which I will explain again in another video. So for, of course, all of these are also double-sided, by the way. Then we, of course, need the mission card. The mission card states in which range, also which measurement tool we need to place the objectives. If you have a playmat from Playmat EU, they have special Shatterpoint playmats where the objectives are already printed on it. But you have to be a little bit careful with the range tools, because the range tool 2 and 3 are not the same size as 5. because. But yeah, after setting up all the objectives, they have to be on the dark side, so they are inactive. This is just an example. We have a struggle card here. It says these are the active ones, then we just turn it. And for the first struggle, these are the active objectives that we can pursue to control. If you have a terrain feature like this bridge in this example, just take the objective token and put it on the higher elevation. That's it. Then we have the struggle tracker. The struggle tracker is for the game, which says who wins the first struggle. I will explain this in a later video. Just know that one side is your opponent and one side is you. Then with every mission we have 9 struggle cards. Struggle cards come with a variety of, active objectives. There are 3 sets of 3 cards, which is important, and let me tell you why that is so important. Because as a game design mechanic, this is brilliant. It gives you a certain randomness for the missions, and it is just so beautiful because you can't know what will come up in the next struggle, and so you always have to be on your toes, and you can't say in the beginning of the game, this is it, I'm gonna move that way, and then I'm gonna move that way. No, it is totally up to a little bit of randomness. So, but how do we achieve that randomness? First of all, we take all of the 9 cards, we shuffle them, and then I like to just, sort them again. And, after sorting them, you just pick one of each stack, which can be random, which can be the top one, doesn't really matter. And after picking those 3, you take all of the other ones out of the game. Don't look at them, because if you memorize them, you already know what's coming up, and that would be bad. So, but you take all of the 3 other cards, they're going to be upside down, and the mission card says what happens in which struggle. So let's open the first one. It tells us which is the active objectives. Again, after the first struggle, we see who is winner, who is loser of the first struggle. Now it is important that the person who lost the first struggle and the subsequent struggle, if there is one, decides which of these 2 battlefields are going to be the active objectives, and upside and downside is also decided by the player who lost, which is basically just the direction. When you look at the card, that is up, and for your opponent, that is up. That's basically it. Then building teams. Building teams is so good. It is really, really well made. This is one of the parts where I can just say, this is beautiful. It was kind of weird in the beginning because I had a couple of questions where I had to venture out through the far, far wide internet and to just find an answer, because the point values we have, let's just look at these 2 unit stat cards. We have here Lord Maul and Ahsoka. First of all, those are primary units. Primary units just say, we have a strike team. A strike team is made up of 2 squads. And 2 squads just means we have 2 primaries, 2 secondaries, and 2 support units. So 1 squad is 1 of each. As you can see on the top left, we have for both of them 8 squad points. This just means how many points can you spend for your secondary and your support unit. They don't have to align with your enemy. That is the beautiful part. On the top right, there are the force points. The force points are important for the game, which we will discuss in another video. Both of them have 3. And as you can see, I have here Anakin, which has 7 squad points and 4 force tokens. The force tokens is not for the character. It is a pool that you can use in your round. And here we have the secondaries and the supports, and you can see they miraculously align with, yeah, well, the heroes that we have in the game in the core box. And what does this mean? The meaning of this is the more powerful your character, your primary is, the less points you have to spend on a secondary and support unit, which is just so beautiful. For me personally, this is really, really well made for balancing things, because you can have a really powerful primary hero, and then you have to think about, oh, but how am I going to put now a secondary and a support into the game that are different costed? Really, really good. The other thing you have to keep an eye out for is the era. So there we have, of course, the Clone Wars, we have the Age of the Rebellion, we have the New Republic, and so on. And this is the age we're playing in. But there are cross-era units, like you can see here, Obi-Wan Kenobi out of hiding. And there are a lot more of those. By the way, whoever sent me the Amazon gift card and the link with what to buy, thank you so much for the coffee mug. I'm using it almost daily now. So then we have the stance cards. The stance cards are basically just for the primary units, because they are double-sided. The secondary and the support units have one side, as far as I know right now. Maybe there are a couple of outliers on the left and right. I don't know. We will have to wait and see for that. Just that you know, the primary unit decides in the beginning of the game on which side the unit starts, and in subsequent rounds or activations you can choose on to change these. Then we have again just the unit stat cards. These are not only to build your teams, but also those are double-sided with the abilities on the other side. Keep them on the side of the table, because you will need them for your wound tokens and your affliction tokens, because it is by far better to put stuff on the card on the side of the table and not having to pull tokens around with you on the battlefield, which I really, really like. And then we have the order cards, which are not only beautiful depictions of our characters, but also the order of activation. How do we do that? Again, we shuffle. After shuffling, it is an alternate activation, so you pick your first card, then I pick my first card, you pick your second card, I pick my second card, and so on. And then we go through all of our cards. And after we pulled the last card, well, it is really rather simple. Again, you pick them up, you shuffle them, and that's it. You just go again with the same thing. Put them down, pick the card, and that is the unit you're activating. But we're gonna talk about all of these again in another video. So that was basically it. My only criticism on only criticisms, it is 2 or 3 of them, depending on how you want to see them, is for the core box. After the many months it is now available, and all of the squad boxes we have right now is you are kinda forced into buying the core box, because the Shatterpoint cards are in there. The dice and the range rulers you can just buy separately, but some of the terrain features are only inside these boxes and they are not available separately, which feels kind of weird. And of course, all of the units are in here. So if you want only Bo-Katan as an example, you have to buy the core box or have to hope that someone sells you or shares the box with you. Otherwise, I really like this box. It is really nice. It just feels kinda weird that you have to buy it, because the rules are free, which is amazing. That is the way I did the 2 printouts and my attack of the scissors on the rules. But it would have been really nice to know that there is an option to buy Ventress with Kalani and the B1 droids as a separate box, or the terrain features as a separate box. So yeah, this feels a little bit weird. Also, the struggle tracker is in the core box, which is nice, but you kinda need it for the game. And it would have been really nice to buy a nice and shiny one outside of the box. Then you have the one thick paper card one in here. And then buy, I don't know, an acrylic one outside of the box. Just a very nice one. Maybe one that looks like a lightsaber hilt or anything like that. I don't know, just a gadget. But all in all, I am incredibly hyped for this game. I'm gonna finish the terrain again, and then I'm gonna start building the models, because they really do look good. But yeah, I'm gonna end it right here, right now, because this is so much work. I'm so thankful to you that you're sticking with me up to the end. Also, I have 2 bloopers in the end for you, which failed, obviously, but yeah. So if you have any other questions, please leave your thoughts and questions in the comment section down below. I am keen to know what you have to say. And while you're down there, please remember to do all the YouTube stuff, because hitting buttons is not only fun. Why? Because that way we can build a bigger community and talk more wargaming almost every day. And by that I of course mean like and subscribe, and yeah, if you want you can support me with the links in the description box down below. I'm sorry, I'm beat. It was a lot of talking right now. But yeah, until then, have a great day, my friend. Stay fantastic, stay hydrated, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, bye, bye.